But we start with our keynoter, Tony Bachman, Tony Bachman Team Keller Williams. You know, I had all this nice, neat stuff put together, and then you send in your notes, and I couldn't put all the important numbers as far as communities on the same page, so I felt bad this morning.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just you know how this works. This conversation is I give you about 10 talking points, and we talk about everything but maybe one or two of them. So
you think?
Yeah, we cover it. We cover some ground here. So.
All right, before we go to this guy that was in Mexico last month, and I'm going to check his license if he's in Florida today.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. I'm going to probably apply to be the president of the Rays Association here sometime soon, because it sounds like when you're there, you get to travel a lot. Well,
we're going to bring him in a minute, but why don't you set the groundwork?
So I think the message, and I think a lot of times we've been talking this is, you know, it's inventory. You know, obviously we're talking about inventory and what's happening in the marketplace. And I think the overall message that, you know, Rick and I probably want to convey is the fact that not to be scared of the fact that the inventory is a little low. It's the fact that we see 2021 as being a very strong real estate market in reference to what's happening moving forward. And so it's just a matter of how we handle the procedure when it comes to the buying and the selling. And I think it's just a matter of informing our buyers and sellers. And when they have that information, then it's still a positive process.
Rick Trapp, do you agree with that this morning?
I agree very much. It is great.
So if it's so great, why are you in Florida?
Well, I got to stay warm to sell houses.
I think that's an unfair advantage, don't you?
I bet he's telecommuting when he's doing his working from Florida.
You know, this is something we came down to look at the real estate market down here in Florida. It's booming, and you know they just got done telling me that there's about 1,000 people a day moving into Florida.
Well, that's about half of what moves into South Dakota, right?
Right.
So why would they want to move to Florida other than it's a little warmer than 3 below zero?
Well, we always have to say the COVID word again, but I think it's because of Florida was opened up like South Dakota, and everyone's coming down to enjoy and stuff like that, but then they closed a little bit, but same as South Dakota. But I think it's just the market down here is just different. It is different. It's up and down. You know, so, and it's good. It's good everywhere.
All right, Tony, let's go through some of your numbers and let's see how much better we are, not temperature-wise, but number-wise with Florida.
Yeah. So I don't know if we're necessarily better than Florida or worse than Florida, but to talk about
Ask the governor.
National Association of Realtors had put out a report last week that said, you know, they've been keeping track of inventory levels, you know, for, I don't know, the last 30 years or so. And we are at an all-time low. For the national inventory level, we're at 1.9 months of inventory supply, just meaning that if nothing else comes on the market within just about 2 months, we're completely out of inventory to sell. Now, let's compare that to our local market. Our local market, we are at 1.6 months. So we're actually below, and we have less inventory than the national average at this point. So let me shed a little spotlight on what might be happening here. Is we're seeing a tick up in reference to the new listings. So when we looked at listings versus December of 2020 to January, we saw it went up about 70 homes additional. It was like 350 compared to 279 in December. And then when we look at like past years, the 350 is still a little light. But what we notice, and if we're looking at trends, and because we're looking at, okay, what happens in, you know, February, March, April, May, we start to see those numbers go from the 300s to 400, 500, and 600 homes coming on the market. So what the light at the end of the tunnel for buyers is the fact that there's homes coming. So be patient. Have all your ducks in a row. Be ready to go in reference to your approvals. We've talked about that. You know, making sure that you have your consultation. And if you're working with a realtor, have the conversation about how do we handle multiple offers? Because more than likely you'll be in a situation will be in multiple offers, and you just need to know, you know, what you're willing to do, what you can do, what you don't want to do, so that when you get into that situation, you've made your best offer that you can make right up front.
Rick, I think you would probably agree it's not a time to be using yourself as a real estate agent unless you're licensed. It is at a time where competitiveness and timeliness are pretty much big factors.
Yes, I believe it's, to use a professional now is that we got so much going on for us that basically going forward, if you don't use a realtor, you're going to miss out. And just because you are a licensed realtor, and there's so many licensed realtors in the state and stuff, just because you are going forward and thinking your best friend's a realtor doesn't mean you're going to get the best deal either. So basically, I think using a professional going forward, knowing the market, and your realtor is going to keep you guys all informed to buying.
Tony, talking about those people that you've dealt with in the last 30, 40 days,
right.
We're almost 5-6 weeks into 2021. What have you seen as far as those wanting to buy and those selling?
So I had a conversation this week. It was a text message back and forth. I have a buyer that's really interested, wants to be in a certain school district, and at this point there has not been anything in their price point for a while. Or when it comes out, it's already under contract, meaning it didn't even make it to the market, and it already went under contract. So we're doing our due diligence. They're being patient. They're on a month-to-month with their rent. So we're going to I'm just told them, be patient. It'll come. We'll make that happen. And they appreciate the fact that we're working. We're looking every day to make sure that if there's something that pops up, then they're ready to go. And we also made sure that they know that they have to have all their lender letter and that sort of thing. On the sell side, we had a listing that we put on the market. It was a week ago Sunday. By the end of the day, within 12 hours, we had 7 offers on the table for the seller to review. Seller was very happy with the terms, and we ended up accepting one of those. But we had an open house that day, and there was probably 25 sets of people that were there. But it was at that price point that is really hard to find. I mean, we were in that between 150 to 200 price point, and that's a very, very desirable spot. Of course, especially for first time home buyer.
Rick, you agree with that?
100%. It is amazing how many offers we're getting, and it's great for the sellers. And like I said, for buyers, you just got to be patient.
All right, Tony, from your segment, the last thing that you want to share this morning before we get that guy that's on the home builder side on.
So one of the stats that came up was median sales price is up 10.9%. So we'll just call it 11% from last year to this year. So we were at 210 last year to 233 this year. So not saying that because you owned a home last year that was worth 210 is now worth 233, but I will tell you that number has gone up quite a ways. But the other reason that the median price point has gone up is we were talking about a lot of people are buying new construction, so your land costs, your building material costs, and the builders and the developers are doing everything they can to try to compensate and help take care of this demand that we have.
Tony Bachman team, Keller Williams, how they reach you?
Our Facebook page is Tony Bachman Group, and it's TonyBachmanGroup.com is our website. My cell is 605-201-5998.
All right. We appreciate you being in with all the cameras this morning. Rick, you and Tom are going to have to start getting the cameras in here to get to the next generation. Tony's kind of showing off here this morning. So
thank you, Bill.